Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've always wanted to say that. So this is a beef and onion curry with flatbread. So first we're going to get all our ingredients out of the way. Starting with the flatbread. This is 1 cup of flour, a third of a cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. This is going to be for our flatbread. Next, we want our beef to be in thinly sliced strips so that they get tender and really well seasoned in a short amount of time. So now spices: 1 teaspoon of fennel seed, black pepper, ginger powder, ground coriander, turmeric, red pepper, ginger powder, and a tablespoon of sugar. A lot of pointing, but that's everything, I promise. And then for the beef, it's seasoning salt and red pepper to season the beef, and some good old-fashioned yogurt. I'm using unsweetened Greek yogurt, and a lot of thinly sliced onions for the curry. So first we're going to season the beef and let that sit aside so that it soaks up that flavor while we get everything else ready. Now the flatbread. So we're going to mix our dry ingredients together and then add some yogurt to that to make our flatbread. So we start with a nice hefty scoop, and what we're after here is a dough that's just coming together. We don't want something too dry and too wet. So once your dough starts to come together and starts to join to itself, then we take it out of the bowl and knead it. I'm going to knead it for about 8 minutes, just so that the gluten in the flour really forms very well. So next we're going to crisp up the beef in our frying pan. I just use some regular vegetable oil, and we're going to crisp the beef until it's really crispy and brown. This isn't even ready yet. This is like a third way through. That is what we're looking for. We need beef to be as crispy as possible so that when it's put back into our curry, it doesn't lose a lot of that crunch. Next, we're going to caramelize our onions in that lovely beef fat that we just used. And we're going to go low and slow until the onions are really sweet and tender and sugary. Next, we're going to add our sugar and spices and seasoning salt in there. It had a teaspoon of seasoning salt, I think I forgot to mention. And we're going to caramelize that for about 2 minutes, just so that the spices cook through. Then we're going to pour in some water. I poured in about a cup, and then we're going to add our yogurt. I poured that about half a cup, maybe a little bit over. I'm tasting as I go here, so once the yogurt is seasoning in the sauce, we're going to add our beef back, and we're going to let that simmer on low for about 20 minutes. You want to taste your sauce at that point to make sure it's well seasoned. We're looking for a balance between savory and sweet, really. So now the flatbread, we're going to roll out as thin as possible and fry that in our frying pan until it's crispy and fluffy. And then we're going to brush it with olive oil so that it stays moist. My dough made about 4 decently sized flatbreads, so if you're following my measurements, your dough will probably make the same thing. And just like that, lunch is ready. I love this dish because it's really quick to put together and it's really easy and it's delicious. Thank you for watching.